This sister right here, I think she may be on to something.
Listen, folks, at this point, you can tell that there is some type of psychotic spirit that has taken over our country. Folks are mad that the president is doing what a president is supposed to do. You can tell that we haven't had real leadership because when real leadership comes along, folks don't know how to handle it. A president's job is to protect his country from foreign and domestic threats. A president's job is to make sure the country is profitable. The president's job is to make sure its country's citizens can live in peace and prosperity. That's what our president is doing. But because we haven't had leadership in so long, people don't know how to handle this. I believe this thing really, really started. I know it started in the 60s when they had already had the plan to destroy America. But Barack Obama, y'all, he did a number on this country. He used the black man's mannerisms to charm the world. He learned the coolness of the black man. I'm telling you, he learned how to speak eloquently. He came with speeches about hope and change and captivated the world. And right in front of our eyes, blindly, we saw this man usher in all kind of abominations. And then Joe and Kamala patted these abominations on the back. Now we got boys really thinking they can be girls and girls thinking they can be boys. Now we have kids using kitty litter in the school because they identify as animals and that's how they use the restroom. We have kids being castrated at an early age by psychotic parents and doctors. And we have crazy people in the schools indoctrinating children. This is where we are. I don't know if we'll ever be able to recover, guys. This is how bad this is. And they are fighting the president on every front as he's trying to fix this country in its psychotic thinking. They are fighting him.
Shout out to that sister, the Proverb 31 woman. I think she's absolutely right.
I think she's absolutely right as well. I mean, you think about somebody that was a billionaire, okay? Had to transfer his companies to his children because of a conflict of interest. He couldn't maintain the title as CEO of Trump Enterprises while being president, because that would be a conflict of interest. He takes on a job to be president that pays, I believe, $325,000 a year. He doesn't take a salary. He almost gets shot at least 3 times, right? Unalived. And then he tries to go about deporting the 50 million illegal immigrants that have come into our country. He gets fought at every stance. He tries to bring down taxes. He tries to make the tariffs fair. I don't know if you know, but other countries have been tariffing and taxing us to death over the last 40 or some odd years. The only thing he wanted to do was to add reciprocal tariffs. If you tax us, we tax you. You tax us on goods, we tax you. That's fair, right? Why should America give away their money? By the way, he was able to use some of that tariff money to fund the food stamps and WIC programs when the Democrats shut down the government. But let's talk about Barry Soetoro, aka Obama. Now, I have to tell you, I had the luxury of having a prophet come to our church in the early 2000s and warning us about Obama. He talked about this legislator that was in Chicago where this prophet grew up. And he said, I want to tell you, just because somebody's the same color as you doesn't mean that you should vote them in. And he mentioned, communism and all that kind of stuff flew over my head, because there's no way in the world that I would think that our country, that there would be people in our government that would try to turn our country into a communist country. So that was over my head. But then the more I started researching about Obama, I found out that his name was actually Barry Soetoro. He grew up in Indonesia and was raised by a wealthy mother who happened to be allegedly the relative of the Bushes. I think he and the Bushes are first cousins. Look this up, okay? His stepfather, Lolo Soetoro, was actually a government contractor. And then they both moved to Hawaii. Hawaii. He did an autobiography stating that his father was Barack Obama Sr. But every time they tried to get this man's birth certificate, and Hillary Clinton tried to do it first before Trump even questioned it, they went through, I mean, it took, I don't know, a couple of years for them to produce a birth certificate in Hawaii. And when they did, they found out that it was doctored, allegedly. Some forensic people actually looked at forensic handwriting experts looked at it and said that this birth certificate that they were given was actually doctored. Okay. But if you look at this article in the Chronicle, it's dated July 22nd, 2024. A gentleman by the name of Lloyd Billingsley did an in-depth dive on Barack Obama and found out that the man that's supposed to be his mentor, Frank Marshall Davis, is alleged to be his father, and that he was a known communist. So yeah, we're at the place where this young lady said Barack Obama comes in. He turns the White House the color of rainbows. He legalizes gay marriage. And that's an abomination to God. Okay, he pushes that whole trans ideology. He does the same thing when it comes to AB, the unaliving of children. And I don't know if you know this, but our country was founded on Judeo-Christian values. Our 10 commandments, our laws are from the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. So when you commit, and it was told that our forefathers actually made a decree, a covenant with the God of Israel down by Wall Street, that first church over there that Hamilton actually did. The play is kind of based around there. And they said that we will have the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob be our God, and we will live by these same covenants. When you do that and you go into covenant with God, God takes that seriously. So if you're a nation that's supposed to be under God, and God we trust, and you have the 10 commandments in your courthouses and that sort of thing, and then you decide to legalize abominations, God is going to judge you on that. God is going to hold you accountable for that. And it was also prophesied in the Bible that good would be evil. There would be a time coming where good would be evil and evil would be good. And that's where we are right now. And things that you would think were common sense, right? Not to allow children to have the upper hand and tell the parents who they are, but for the parents to raise and groom them and teach them the right way to go. That's what the Bible says as well. But yet these kids come out and they think, and I believe they truly get indoctrinated in school. I believe school's nothing but indoctrination camps. It takes their creativity away from them. It takes their individuality away from them. I believe school trains children to be employees and factory workers. Okay, so now you have these children claiming that they feel that they were born in the wrong body. They're not supposed to be this. They're not supposed to be that. And you have all this confusion going on. And then you have this drop in immorality. And then to piggyback on top of that, you have Joe Biden who comes in and institutes all of these LG alphabet community holidays, right? He turns Easter into Trans Visibility Day. Can you believe that? That to me was like, and Easter, I call it Resurrection Day. It's like the holiest time of year, the holiest day for Christians. That's what our whole faith and premise of faith is based on, that Jesus was crucified, he died and was raised on the third day, Resurrection Day. And you turn that into an abomination. Okay. And then you have Kamala running on ABs with a Planned Parenthood bus in front of her convention. And I thank God that Kamala didn't get into office, because I think that our country at this stage would be a lot worse than what it is right now. President Trump was the trump card. They did not expect him to get into office. They especially didn't expect him to get a second term. That's why they conducted all of that lawfare against him. And because he's in, the time clock for us has slowed down so that we can get a lot more people to know who they are, to know Christ, to live out their destiny, and to have their soul saved so that they won't be eternally lost. But let me know what you think about this. Do you think Barry Soetoro, aka Barack Obama, was the start of modern day communism? Do you think that he caused the wheels of destruction to start going again? Do you think Joe Biden jumped on top of that bandwagon? And what do you think it would be like if Kamala were president? All right. But let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And if you'd like, buy your girl a cup of coffee. Okay. The link will be in the description. Thanks for watching Kingdom Political. I'll see you on the next one.